From the Gambia Radio and Television Services, and this is the news. First, our top stories. Thousands of Catholics descend on Kunkujang Mariamar in the West Coast region for their annual pilgrimage at the Shrine of Mary. Farmers from around the country gather to celebrate the annual Animal Pageantry Day, meant to promote the health and welfare of animals in the Gambia. Street battles erupt in the Palestinian West Bank between protesters and Israeli forces as condemnation of President Trump's declaration of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel intensifies. Plus, local music icon Trouble Smalls returns home from a successful world tour, taking him to audiences across several continents. All these and other stories coming ahead in the next 30 minutes. I am Fatu Janembai. Well, good to have you with us. Thousands of Catholics descended on Kunkujang Mariamar in the West Coast region for their annual pilgrimage at the Shrine of Mary. This year's pilgrimage marks 31 years since the shrine was consecrated in 1986. The event comes 10 days after the first ever Gambian Catholic bishop was nominated to shepherd the affairs of Gambian Catholics. The pilgrims also took time to reflect on past events that occurred in the country, such as the political impasse and the democratic change of government, which ushered in the freedom of speech and respect for fundamental human rights. They did this by making confessions recited on their rosary beads at the grotto and later observed the usual stations of the cross. The multitude of Catholic pilgrims later headed to the main ground to say the Mass, which was presided over by the outgoing Bishop Patrick Robert Ellison. In his homily, Bishop Ellison paid homage to Mary for her immense contributions to the church and called on the faithful to continue being grateful to her. Bishop Ellison also commended Gambians for welcoming a new democratic dispensation, as well as prayers and efforts they made to ensure a violent-free transitional period. The Holy Father also challenged all and sundry to put aside their differences and play a role in national development. Well, we hope to bring you details of that story in our subsequent newscast. Moving on, the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust Organization have celebrated their annual animal pageantry event that brings farmers together to discuss the way forward towards improving the welfare and health of animals in the Gambia. Our Seydou Camara picks up the rest of that story.
This event brought together farmers and herders to celebrate this day, which is dedicated to the welfare of the horses and donkeys in the country. The general manager of the Horse and Donkey Association in the Gambia, Langbaba Sisi, said the event is to raise awareness of the welfare of animals.
Agriculture in the Gambia cannot maintain without horses and donkeys. And horses and donkeys' welfare is our big concern. That's why we create this day. Every year we celebrate it in Up River. So this time we are doing here for the first time because we have a camp here called Makasutu Training Center. So to encourage people to handle their animals so that we can have better agriculture and to help ourselves and the entire community.
The PRO of the Animal Welfare Advocates in the Gambia, Kadi Kanaji, explains the objectives of their association, which she said is to create awareness to the farmers to promote the welfare of domesticated animals.
One of our aims are to create animal welfare awareness in farming communities, students and the general public as stakeholders, to promote better management practices of animals, especially equines and small ruminants, to reduce rural poverty by increasing production and productivity of working horses and donkeys through animal welfare and good management.
A drama performance was staged by students of the Gambia College, highlighting the treatment of animals in communities. The director of Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust spoke of the importance of animals in the lives of people.
The objective is to reward the people who look after their animals very well, encourage the ones who need a bit of help, and to spread the word about animal welfare and how they can improve productivity of their animals. Today we're judging on condition of the animal and the handling of the animal. As it's our first show, we're just judging on those criteria. As the years go on, we will include the conformation of the animal and so on.
The Minister of Agriculture, Umar Jallo, described the event as historic. He called on the people to protect the welfare of animals.
This is the first time that I am attending an activity organized by the Horses and Donkeys Trust. But I have observed that a lot has been done. Therefore, it is the responsibility of this government to build partnership with this organization so that the assistance needed from the government and the support needed from this government should be forthcoming to make sure the trust continues to flourish, and the assistance that should go to the animals should also be there, as we are going to protect human beings by making sure that doctors and medicines are available in the hospitals. So we should not forget that these animals also have lives.
Prizes and medals were awarded to the owners of the healthiest animals. Saidu Kamara, GRTS News.
Now, the mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council, Yankubu Kuli, has officially handed over a road project in Talinding to the Gumworks agency. There is $60 million project is expected to address transportation problems for Talinding residents who use the road on a daily basis. Khadija Tujalo picks up the rest of that story.
This is just one of many bad road networks in the Kanifing municipality taxpayers are looking for to be addressed. At the Talinding Jilifiti Highway, residents Abdunjai and Sambu Sise explain the transport challenges they face daily on the damaged road.
This road has become impassable and difficult to use. Two of my cars have been eroded by the stagnant water, and whenever cars pass by, the bad smell it produces is unbearable. This has been a recurring problem, and every year, when the rains begin, we encounter many difficulties that hinder our daily use of this important road.
Residents were overjoyed by the initiative and described it as a timely move that will certainly impact on the socio-economic development of the Talinding area. Kanifing Municipality Mayor Yankubu Kuli.
I've been hustling about this road since I became the councillor, because I'm the first councillor of this ward in 2002. I have talked about this road. In fact, the common name then they were calling me was Girivide Kunda, and that is our sacred area. And now it has come to fruition. I'm happy that I'm giving out this project to the people of Talinding.
At the Gumworks agency, officials have forged various partnerships with local councils to satisfy the transportation and infrastructure needs of the public, but such interventions usually arrive behind schedule. Taxpayers expect municipal councils in the country to construct roads, build markets, schools, parks and other vital facilities for them. Yet this is a problem greatly challenging council officials, whose greatest difficulty has been the drive to meet the expectations of local communities they represent.
Development is gradual. We have defense council to make a lot of development together with central government. If you see all the central government projects that are within Talinding, you know, I made the influence through the central government.
Gumworks official Omar Gay outlined the partnerships being advanced to meet social development goals. Construction of this road is set to be completed in 12 months, with the municipal council aiming to promote the area's socio-economic development and uplift the lives of its people. Khadija Tujalo reporting for GRTS News.
Health journalists across the country have benefited from a 2-day training staged by the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. The program was aimed at introducing reporters to new techniques and areas in the coverage of health matters. Aissatou Jatta reports.
In the thick of an expanding information age, effective communication has become the new ideal, making industries dynamic instruments for sustainable growth. In the health sector, health reporting has been the constant link between the public and health industry, conveying healthcare needs and advance via communication. Yet even journalists need continuous training to hone their skills and comprehensively understand medical needs and changing conditions. This is what prompted the WHO to bring together health journalists and reporters from a cross-section of media houses for a 2-day training that covered a range of areas such as principles of health coverage, concepts and other specialized aspects of healthcare reporting.
As a producer and a reporter, I am sure after this training, people will see a difference in the way I analyze my stories, in the way I bring facts in my programs, not only bringing the experts to bombard us with jargons and other issues, but to go down to the community, see how they are affected by health issues, bringing their problems, highlighting them, and then coming up with solutions.
We've been having workshops, training here and there, but this other one is different from the previous one because it has enabled us to know the challenges, and from those challenges we need to develop them into solutions, because looking into our communities or our environment, there are a lot of challenges here and there. Even in health facilities there are challenges, even in our families and communities, as I said earlier on, there are challenges, and those challenges we need to turn them into solutions so that the nation can go forward.
A brief moment of learning and guidance, discovering new skills. Participants highly rated the 2-day training and hailed it as a well-timed initiative.
My expectations were achieved because one of it was to actually get the ethics, especially when it comes to the techniques in trying to get information, especially based on health, and how do I relay them back to my communities, because wherever I go in gatherings of such, the expectations I always have is at the end of the day I'll be able to interpret the messages that I get into the local dialects, because we are dealing directly with the local people, with the local community.
Fatou Toure is the president of the Association of Health Journalists in the Gambia. Here, she assures the World Health Organization of her association's resolve to effectively deliver and meet coverage expectations to the health industry.
Be creative, like the WHO was saying yesterday, to come up with stories that are human stories that will touch lives, that will effect a change in the life of the people in the rural areas or in the urban areas.
Participants drawn from both the print and electronic media were awarded certificates by the WHO, which is diligently moving to empower journalists and particularly ensure that health issues are granted their fair share on media platforms. Aissatou Jatta, GRTS.
Now, a new jackpot promotion has been rolled out by Lotto Gaming Gambia. Their nationwide promotion comes as the company looks to increase new stakes to attract more winners amid new competing categories in the gaming scheme. By Ibrahim Cham reports, a whooping $220,000 lassie has already been doled out to various winners.
A cash prize of $220,000. And Gambia Lotto is back again with a rumble in its wake. Customers of the exciting money-spinning lottery are being granted and added perks with a new super jackpot promotion announced by the company's marketing manager, Mrs. Kandeka Cisse. This time, Lotto is on a nationwide undertaking with a jackpot that rolls across different sectors and regions in the country. More surprise winners emerge. This time, luck shine on its Mali native Modibu, who has made the Gambia his second home. From him, we learned that staying with the course for as long as it takes really pays off. The cheerful winner thanked Lotto Gambia for granting him a big win and encouraged his fellow gamers to keep raising the stakes. For GRTS News, I'm by Ibrahim Chow.
Now, a 2-day conference for managers of credit unions has ended at the Region 1 Education Directorate in Kanifing. Louis Mendy reports the conclave organized by the National Association of Cooperative Credit Unions in the Gambia was intended to discuss strategies to attract more youth into credit union schemes as desired by the Gambia Youth Empowerment Project.
Dozens of credit union managers from across the country were engaged on a 2-day-long dialogue to review what has been done and what can be done better in encouraging more youth involvement in the credit union movement for economic empowerment. The forum was organized by the National Association of Cooperative Credit Union, the Gambia, in short NACOOP, as it renews its commitment in fulfilling its own responsibility in the Youth Empowerment Project.
I remain ever confident that with our area of credit unions located across regions in the Gambia, we have the potential to facilitate access to financial and non-financial services to a huge number of youths currently engaged in income generation activities in the rural, and as credit union managers, your role in this effort is very key and prudent.
The Gambia Youth Empowerment Project, under implementation by the International Trade Center and funded by the European Union, is designed to empower the country's over 60% youthful population with particular focus on the less privileged.
The youths who are also most at risk of leaving this country through the back way. Every day we hear about the horrible stories, what happens all across, particularly in Libya. And in order to prevent this, of course, we need to help these people, but we also need to look at the root causes of this irregular migration. And we know a lot of these root causes are joblessness, underemployment, lack of opportunities, and that's what we're here for today as well, to look into this.
NACOOP, which has a part to play in the implementation of the Youth Empowerment Project by encouraging youth involvement in the credit union movement, said it has the intention to establish youth credit union centers across the country aside from this seminar for credit union managers.
It's also a new beginning for us in the credit union movement. We have been doing a lot of things, and you look around the table, most of our managers are youths. So it is time to think, how do we support our own peers? How do we help them access finance? How do we help them build their skills? How do we help them build business opportunities?
The hope is that participants at this seminar will eventually act on the knowledge gained, thereby turning it into reality in the youth empowerment process. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Well, time now to take our first break. The news continues in just a moment.
Carry your bank everywhere you go with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Take control of your account anytime, anywhere with ease and security. Do your banking the smart way with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Check your account balance, transfer funds, buy now with cash power and mobile credit, withdraw money from our ATM and POS, and pay your bills, request for a Verve card or Visa card, check your Forex rates, and do so much more in just a few steps. Download the GT Bank Gambia mobile app today from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Do your banking the smart way. Do your banking now with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Terms and conditions apply. GT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Lubesa bes, Nemoji for it. Hey, Lubesa bes, Nemoji for it. Hey, Mawahati. Nyowal. Akasaka lolo. Nyowal. Akaneх lolo. Nyowal. Neex na ci panket. Nyowal. Neex na ci mburu. Nyowal. Neex na ci tapala. Nyowal. Tey moji for it. Nyowal. Akasaka lolo. Nyowal. Lay la la. Moji for it. Xolal. Jas. Ma yëkkati. Ba atan ken ko moji. Neex na ci panket, neex ci mburu. Moji for it. Bàcc tapala ba bàcc seen pour moji fari réew mi jëndaleef ko furiñ bi dafa neex lool ta sakal lool moji fari moji bu mu jëndee ba tey bonon moji fari moom lañu taamu ta sakal lool moji fari ak neex jënd leen ko yéen ñu doon ut furiñ bu baax furiñ bu sakkan demal tey ca Moustapha Ji Diallo and Sons ca 61 OAU Boulevard bi tey it nga teg sa téléphone call leen ci 4227 566 wala it 92 44 331 kon wala it nga dem ci seen makkaan ba nekk Pictine waa kër Moustapha Ji Diallo and Sons.
Welcome back, and moving now to some entertainment news. From humble beginnings to stardom, the Gambia's renowned musician T. Small Suso won't be considered a local act anymore, with multiple international appearances under his belt. A grand exposure has paved the way to greatness for this young prodigy of Gambian music. Freshly returning from a recent 3-month European tour, T. Small shared his experience at a press conference. From the entertainment desk by Ibrahim Cham tells us more.
One of the few Gambian artists that kept the momentum over his decade-long career and finally eating the fruits of his labor. T. Smalls just touched down from his European tour after performing in 12 different gigs. The artist had other snippet appearances, studio sessions, and an album deal. Speaking at a press conference, the young star gave a synopsis of how engaged he was throughout the tour.
We played almost 12 to 15 shows, roughly. You know, some shows are just appearances by other artists that already knew I'm in town and I'm from Africa and from Gambia. And at some point you get to connect whilst you're doing shows with producers, promoters. So this appearances come in between. But my normal shows were only 12 shows this time. And normally when I go to Europe, it's only 1, 2, 3 shows you're back. But this time was a full package show from start to finish. You know?
Recognizing the efforts of his fellow artists with limited resources, he called on the music industry stakeholders to help restructure the lucrative industry.
This structuring is not only gonna help the industry to grow, but it's gonna help the industry to identify the people who are on the right channels, who are doing the right thing, and this is gonna help us to grow. For us to be able to go forward, we need the government to participate in this. We need the arts and culture to have a link between them and the artists. The artists need to also organize themselves into subgroups like the music union, the artist union, the DJ union, the promoter union. All these things need to be in place, and then we start to work for each other.
Having flashbacks on his struggle as an artist, in his younger days, T. Smalls persuaded upcoming artists to stick to their dreams.
We should be grateful and work harder, you know. Rome was not built in a day. You know, even myself, like back in the days, I walked to go to shows. Now I'm driving, I'm entering planes to go to shows, different places. Back in the days, my songs were not even played on the radio in the Gambia. Talk less. Now my songs are playing in Senegal, in Ivory Coast, in Europe, everywhere. So it's you believing yourself, working hard towards your dreams, and then it's gonna come.
Being among the few Gambian-based artists that have annual international tours, the Katato Entertainment boss is quite optimistic that the doors of success will surely open for other Gambian artists. For GRTS Entertainment, I'm Ibrahim.
Well, time now to take our second break. We'll be right back.
Lu toll ci fukki dalasi ba ñaar fukki junne ak juróom
Welcome back, and overnight news beyond our shores. President Trump's declaration of Jerusalem as Israel's capital has sparked a wave of protest around the world. This is more pronounced in the West Bank, where clashes continue between protesters and Israeli forces as anger and tension grows over President Trump's declaration of Jerusalem as the new capital of Israel. CNN's Ayn Lee reports from Ramallah in the West Bank.
What we know in the West Bank is that Bethlehem has also had protests, it has had clashes, and this is a Thursday. Fridays are usually the main days of protests here, and so if we're seeing this many people come out on a Thursday, you could expect to see something similar on Friday. Now today, Palestinians did call for a strike. Businesses are closed, schools are closed, and you're seeing a lot of people go out in the street and voice their anger. Over here, I want to just show you this. This is kind of what you're seeing, the tires that they're burning, and that's what's creating this thick black smoke that you see in the distance here. Also, an ambulance over here. It looks like someone was injured. They're rushing someone there. But this is really the scene. This is the reality here in this part of Ramallah, where we're going to move back some more now.
Yeah, hey Ian.
All right.
Listen, get to safety, bud. We get the sense of what's happening on the ground. You let us know if the situation changes, but stay safe, all right? We hear them firing the tear gas. Get out of there.
Tear gas is coming in.
Get out of there.
All right. Yep, we're out. Yeah, the army.
Yeah, just keep running, Ian. Don't worry about broadcasting. Look, the problem is when this tear gas hits, if that's what it is, there are lots of different components that they can use to disperse crowds over there. It hits you so fast, and you can't move anymore.
Oh
it literally freezes you in place. I don't care how many onions you have. And there's a mixed bag with those tires also. They create almost instant thick black smoke.
Yeah.
It's a distraction, but it also removes the field of vision from the military on the other side. And very often it becomes a reason for return of force.
You can see people there struggling afterwards. Let's check in with Ian. Ian, can you hear us? Okay. Right. Ian, how are you?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
What's happening?
Hey, I'm all right. We're okay.
Well, from that update on the Jerusalem saga, we join the Central Forecast Office for a look at the day's weather report. And from the weather update there, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office, a recap of our headline-making stories once again. Thousands of Catholics descend on Kunkujang Mariamar in the West Coast region for their annual pilgrimage at the Shrine of Mary. Farmers across the country have gathered to celebrate the annual Animal Pageantry Day, meant to promote the health and welfare of animals in the Gambia. Street battles erupt in the Palestinian West Bank between protesters and Israeli forces as condemnation of President Trump's declaration of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel intensifies. Plus, local music icon Trouble Smalls has returned home from a successful world tour, taking him to audiences across several continents. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Up next, later on the schedule, is the Checkpoint with Abdullah C, asking tough questions that matter. Do stay with us here on GRTS. Until then, I was your presenter, Fatu Janimbai, and thank you for joining us.